Heidi ho, programmers. Way to go. We're in episode 11. The game's getting really fun. We are basically done with the initial groundwork of the adventure system. We're going to start today with the character creation system. We're going to finish the adventuring thing with the final objective, giving out experience points, all that stuff just to finalize that initial step. We're going to stay away from testing and cleanup, which we really need to do, though. The game engine, the main game engine class is horrible. It's way too long. You got too many things that change. It's a nightmare to test. We'll deal with that later towards the end. We're just going to continue on with the fun for now. So come on, let's get started. Oh, and a side note, I guess in episode 10, I know in episode 10, I had to cut the camera out and refactor a lot of code. I came back and I tried to explain to you guys what I had changed, but obviously I did a terrible job according to what I've been told by a couple of you. So I'm either going to redo 10 or with the notes of the change, or just add it to the description. Or worst case scenario, you guys can go to GitHub right now and just start with my copy, or just pull down my code. If you got your own stuff and you don't want to mix the two, just compare the classes. That should really help you if you just go to GitHub, pull down the classes and see what the differences are and see what I left out. Okay, guys, and we're at the repository RPG console absolute beginner. I want to show you something. Open with GitHub desktop over here. I am loving GitHub desktop. I'm going to download it real quick. So guys, I've started using this at work and I really like this application. It's basically built by GitHub. It's GitHub desktop. I signed in, you got to sign in, you got to authorize it. And then all your repositories, if you have any, show up over here. Or you can, again, come over to GitHub and say open in desktop and it will just clone it for you. It's really, really nice. I was going to do that so I can make a new branch for this episode, but I've already made episode 11, so I don't have to. But yeah, you can see I've got all these dumb branches down here that I've done. I've never actually used hardly. But yeah, there we are. There's absolute beginner. I can clone it, but it's already cloned. So if you want to just match the two up, you can go to your local repository, say add repository, and there you go. It'll be matched up with my, so I can flip my branches right through here really easily. I could commit, I could delete, whatever. So cool, moving on. Okay, so here we are in message or game service where we find items in the chest. This is the place that we need to see if an item is the item that we is our objective, our final objective, right? So we open up our initial JSON adventure, and so we should have completion reward, completion. So we need to remember those. So we put objective numbers on the items, on the treasure items, but I don't see where we ever chose a final objective number. So we need to do that, I think. Let me just, do we have final anywhere? No. Let's see if we have final in this document, not the entire solution. We don't. So we're going to add final objective. And that's what will tell our system that the person just opened the final objective, and it's 1, 2, 3. So open up your initial JSON, add final objective 1, 2, 3. If you made the Duke's Chalet objective number 1, 2, 3, and so we will check it. We need to check it right here as we're looping through each item. We need to check it right here and say something like. Okay, so if item dot objective number equals, and we've got our game adventure, so back down here, equals game adventure dot final objective, which we don't have in that class because we didn't make it. So let's go to the definition of game adventure. Adventure. And this is going to be a public int. Final objective. All right, there we go. Now we can go back here. If it is. So we're starting game. We want to know if when the game has been won, right? So I think we need a private global variable class variable up here. So a private bool game over. Let's start with game 1. Set it to false. And where were we? Back down here. You notice I'm looking over here. It tells me where I last typed, where I got different things. So that's kind of a good, easy way to find out where you were. So we're going to set game 1. We may end up changing that to game over, but game 1 equals true. Okay, so now we know that the game has been won. Now we want to give our player the stuff that they deserve. And so there's completion reward, completion gold, and the player has XP, right? So, oh my gosh, we never gave the player experience points. Are you kidding me? We want to spell it out, I just want to call it XP. Everyone knows what XP is. Let's be simple. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, so now we need to go back to, so there's good, he's got gold. Gold's gonna be in his inventory, I assume. We're gonna say, we never added gold to the JSON file. So how's that going to happen? That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to work. There's no way that I'll get saved back. I would have found that out though. So when we initial read it in, there's that gold plus equals, because we're adding to it. Game adventure dot completion gold reward, character dot XP plus equals, and of course we don't have XP. Game adventure all right, and so go to definition. Give me a character, yo. Do entities have gold? Do entities have XP? Yeah, entities should have gold. Something might have gold. It might have a rock that has gold, right? I'm going to give it to this instead, to the entity, and I'm also going to give experience points. I'm going to say experience is a, no, because we're going to want monsters to, I'm not going to give monsters experience. Because everything that lives is going to use this abstract class. So let's get rid of all this stuff that we don't need. This is now screaming saying you're overshadowing something, right? It hides an inherited member because we don't need gold. But we also don't need levels, I don't think, because I think an entity should hold the levels, because everything's going to hold levels. You want to put everything you can in your abstract model so that it just, whenever you inherit from it, you get all this stuff. And the abstraction, that's a reason for using abstraction, is that you can do a bunch of things that multiple different kinds of things can use. Is alive, most definitely can go to entity. Adventures played as a character thing. Armor classes is going to be an entity. These are I got to think, what would a monster or just some item that's alive or a living thing, sentient being in the universe, what would it have? Everything's going to have an armor class. How much armor does it have? Everything's going to have, is everything going to have inventory? Everything's not going to have a class. That's character. Inventory weight. Not going to worry about that with anything else. Background's definitely character related. Experience is only going to be character related because we're going to have it go up in levels based on experience. We'll just assign levels to the entity. Abilities we won't worry about, but I think inventory might be. Because everything's got an inventory. Everything owns or doesn't own stuff. So yeah, we need to bring in some stuff here. All right, so we just made some changes. We added these to entity, took these out of character. I think that's a better idea. But we also added XP, so back to our stuff. All right, XP, so now the character gets the XP. They get the gold. We got to tell the character. Let's wait till we're done. So I like all of this. We're gonna do all this stuff. We're gonna add this stuff to them. The game is won, and then right before we return, let's check and see if game is won. Do we have a banner maker? Do we ever make a banner maker, or do we just do stuff with the banners? Let me see. All right, I'm gonna go grab a bunch of stuff. We're gonna change the colors. Background color red. I don't know. I'm just gonna write colors out. Dark blue. White. Oh, that's gonna pop. Oh, that's gonna pop. So I'm gonna make another class variable. I'm not a big fan of doing too many of these if we don't need them. There's probably a better idea, but I just game winning description. All right, let's do it like this. I was trying to put a bunch of this stuff in here. But we're gonna do it like this. We're gonna say you found the final objective, you win. Just so we know, we can make this banner look somewhat decent. You win. And we'll close off this happy banner here. Excuse my mess. All right, so now we have the happy banner. Now we're gonna set the colors back to what they were. All right, get rid of all this garbage that I pulled in. Now we want to tell, them what they won. So we don't have to try and do it in the banner. There. You found that, which is the game winning description. And then XP reward equals again, I'd probably rather do this. I hate doing it like this. This is old style concatenation, but because we're sending it in to an actual function, we have to do it this way. We could write this on a different line, but it makes no sense. Not game adventure, character. All right, so we've handled the game-winning stuff. We've handled telling the client. Now let's just and we need to find the place we return from, and just say, hey, game over. So here's 2 references. Okay, so back here when we open chess, this is where we could handle and say, hey, did we win the game when we opened that chess? Because that's where the games end, and we could do stuff. But what did I forget? You guys know what I forgot here? I forgot to add the GUID to our adventures, right? So that we can restart and say, sorry, Conan, you can't do this again. You got to go find another adventure, go make one. So there's a GUID, and then Conan should have a list of adventures. Of course, I didn't put it in here. Let's go to character. I think I got it in here, right? Adventured played list. Should be a list of GUIDs, not a list of strings. All right, so adventures played needs to be a list of GUIDs. So go back to game service. Oh, and we need to add this to our JSON. So we got a lot of stuff. Adventures played. Is that how we spelled it? Definitely not with the C at the end. Adventures played. All right, and that's going to be a list. So we'll do that. And so up here, character dot adventures played dot add. And so we shouldn't even be playing this. So we could like check and make sure we're not going to add another GUID if it's exactly already in there, but we shouldn't even be playing this if it was in there, because we're going to check and say, hey, you can't play this game because you've already played it once before. So we're just going to go ahead and add it. And what is system GUID to string game adventure. So what's adventure? Let's do GUID. Okay, and this should be a GUID, so that even though it shows up as a string, it should be converted to a GUID or Guido. Let's see. Let's try and finish the game and let's see if all this stuff works. And we're going to have to write all this back to the JSON. So we're going to have to go through that as well. So let's go. All right, we're in here. Final objective 1, 2, 3. Objective 1, 2, 3. Game winning description. This is the Duke's Chalice. Your gold is now 105 because you got 5 from opening the chest. Sweet, sweet. Somewhere along the way. Your experience should be whatever that was, 250. Ooh, that's a lot of experience. We're going to add that. So now your list is a list of GUIDs, and there it is because it did convert. Very nice. Very nice. And we should get our nice little thing here. So let's do that. All right, let's make sure we get it. How's it look? Oh, pretty. You found the final objective. You win. You found this is the Duke's Chalice. Probably could redo that description. Experience with that. Conan now has 250 and he has 105 because you've gotten some gold reward. Okay, and then we wouldn't do that. So game's over. Game's finished. So fantastic. Let's find our open doors. Go back up to open chest, because that's where the games are ending. Let's go to this one. And let's make a whole nother method called, if game 1, we're going to call it game over. So we should have all the stuff we need to do the final game over stuff there. So let's head back. Where were we? We were down here. Let's go back and just do both of them. Open chest. Let's go back to the references and go to this one and say if game 1, because we got 2 places, right? We're opening chest, kind of weird, but we do. I don't remember why. and say game over. All right, and so this will tell us it doesn't have a game over, so it'll make it for us. Generate. Let's just generate that, please. Thank you. And I'm going to put this at the very bottom because it's the very bottom thing. Okay, guys, I did it again. I skipped ahead and wrote a bunch of stuff, so let's go super slow to make sure I didn't miss anything. So let's go over the game over method. So the first thing I did is I made a save character method in the character service so that we could save our current character back to the JSON. So actually, before that, go to your folder with your characters, to where you got Conan, and do a Control C, Control V, Control V. Basically, you want to make a couple copies because we're going to mess up the original Conan. So just make a couple, 2 or 3 Conans, so that as we overwrite with the new stuff, we don't lose the original copy. All right, so there's that. Now we need to go to our character service interface, and we're going to make a method called save character where we're going to pass the character in. So go to character interface, go to definition. Here's iCharacter service, just go to definition. And in here, you're going to want to add this line, public bool, because we're going to return a bool saying whether the save worked or not. I don't know how we'll use that later, but public bool, save character, and you want a character, and we'll call it character. Sip of coffee. Now we'll go to our actual character service. So if you go back to your game service, or you go back to your program, the main program down here, you'll see that we passed in. You'll see we pass in a real live character service. So let's go to that character service. There it is. It's implementing iCharacter service. Now, yours will probably have a red squiggly line because if you just added that to the interface, it's telling you, hey, interface is not fully implemented. So you can just right-click on it, go to your little light bulb, and say, implement the interface for me. It will add the save character method at the bottom. Go down to the bottom of your character service to your empty save character method. And now we're going to steal some stuff from load character. If you go to load character, you see we get the base path of our characters. We're going to grab that again. So add var base path and just steal that. We're also going to steal the if file exists. So you can copy these 2 lines if file exists with the curly brace and plop that down in here. But the change is you're not going to do name. You're going to do character name because in the load character method, you can see we pass in a string name. So we're looking for a character by that name. That's going to be a problem someday if we ever get characters with the same names, but we're not going to worry about that right now. But so now we're looking for the character, the actual character class that we passed in will have a character name. We want to make sure that JSON file exists in the folder structure. Once we do know that it exists, we're going to do a new thing called file, write all text. This says creates a new file, writes the specific string to the file, and then closes the file. If the target already exists, you can see it tells us it is overwritten. That's exactly what we want. So we're going to write all text. And then the arguments that they want the path. You can see here's a path. So we already got that. We got base path. So we got base path. Here's the path to the actual file right here, right? So I just copied that right down in here for the first argument. And the second argument for this is the contents, the string contents. So here's what we do. We do JSON convert. You'll notice if you scroll up to load or get, either one of these top 2 methods, you'll notice that we call JSON convert deserialize object. So basically, a JSON file is a text file. It's a serialized text file. We're going to deserialize it and turn it into an actual, pop it into a class. That's what we did the first time. Now we want to do the opposite of that. And we want to take our character class, see, it's a character class, and we want to serialize it into a string. And so it serializes it and it plops all that text right into this name. So basically it overwrites it. Beautiful. All right, so back to your game service. Back to the bottom. We're going to save it. And then just for safety's sakes, I'm going to take the character that has been holding all the information and just blank it out with a new character. We're going to write and read so that they have to push a button to to the message handler that says, "Thy game is over, son / madam. Presseth enter to returneth to thine maineth menu." And then, so you need to go to program. Once you do that, you're going to have to go to program, program CS, and we need to make this and make menu public because that's what we're going to start all over. The one thing we're missing is I want to clear the screen out. So how do we do that? I forgot. Console clear, I think. Oh, yeah, we wrote message channel. Oh, we're so awesome. We're so good, guys. You guys are really good. So we already did that. So we can just say booyah. Once they hit enter, we'll say booyah and clear the screen, and then it will make the menu, make main menu, and boom. So let's see this in action. All right, here we go. Save character service. I'm going to step in and get on my base path. I got my base path. I'm going to check the file that does exist. Here's my character. It is an actual class, as you can see, but we're going to serialize it. And so now check this out. So let's open Jace. Let's open Omi. Let's not open Homie yet. Let's open Home Slice. Homie's friend. So here's an original copy. So now we have an original copy. All right, so we're going to go back to game service and step in it. I got the return true. So boom, we've written over. We're going to get this message. All right, I need to change. Conan now has 250 XP and 105 gold. I need to add those. And there's our message. But let's go back to code because I want to see. So we got Conan here, right? But let's see the new Conan and see if it's been overwritten. Oh, I don't like when it does. It does that whenever it's in the middle of being whatever. But there we go. Look, you got XP 250. You've got adventures played. There's our new adventure. Boo-hoo-hoo! There's our adventure in there. You've got 105 gold. The inventory. Oh my gosh, Conan has inventory. So look, our original Conan had no inventory, no gold, whatever. This Conan's got ugly brown key. He's got 4 things. Fancy rope. He's got the Duke's chalice. Yeah, it's awesome. Couple keys, maggoty bread, and glorious. We have overwritten Conan. That's awesome. And so let's continue the game. We're going to say, bam, we're going to hit enter. It's going to clear, and it's going to go to make menu, and boom, we're back. Ha! So a couple things I see. Let's handle death, and let's handle not letting Conan start over again. So we have Conan now. Check this out. So right in here where we say characteristics get character, we need to send in the GUID, I think, right here, because they've already picked the adventure, right? We've already sent in the adventure. If we haven't, we're doing the initial adventure. So we need to modify this method. And so let's go here real quick. Let's go to implementation, and let's go, and we'll add GUID. And say adventure GUID, right? And then, so before we add this person, before we add them in range, because look, we've already asked if they're alive. We've already asked at the level, whatever. Oh no, we can do this here. And so let's do this and. I'm gonna hit enter here, and I'm gonna add another and. And potential character in range dot adventures played dot contains. So contains is a method they've written for us, determines whether an element is in the list. So it's already what we need. So we can just say, and we don't want it to contain that, right? So we're going to say and put the exclamation point beginning, which means does not, is not, And so we got to put in the GUID, right? So let's throw the GUID in. So we have the adventure in here, don't we? Of course we do. We're looking at it right now, right? Or no, we sent the adventure in an adventure GUID. So we'll say adventure GUID. Yep. Boom. So our Conan guy, the one that finished, should not show up. We should only see the copies. Now that should be all we need. Now this is going to break because it's probably using a, yeah, see, it's using this. So, and saying, hey, we didn't tell you, you're not using something we can do. So that didn't make any sense. Right here, we need to change our interface to take in a GUID. And we'll call it adventure GUID, just like we did. And so now we got that. Now we got that. This should work. So now we should start our game, and we should not be able to see Conan 1 because he's already played the game. The player shouldn't even know he exists. We might need to tell the player later. What's going on? What do I do? What did I do? Oh, I never did this. I never sent that in. So game adventure. All right. More problems. Optional parameters. Oh, these are optional. Okay, optional parameters have to go at the back because you can't do blank blank something. So we got to redo this. Sorry. Take this out. Blank. Make that the beginning. That is not optional. We need to know what the GUID is. We need to know what the adventure GUID is. So that goes in front, which will in turn freak out our interface. So we got to fix that. Which will in turn freak out our game service. Oh. Let's try it again. All right. Okay, so you can't really tell because everyone's named the same, but I have 6 Conans in my folder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only showing 5. So let's step through it and make sure that we see it work. I can change all their names, but I don't want to do that. Let's go back to character service where we get to the potential character. Let's just stop it for our, and I'm going to get rid of all 5. This is because I don't need all these dudes. So I got my original JSON. We'll do 3. All right. Now let's step through this puppy. All right. Put adventures played, nothing. Has nothing in the adventures played because that's the first Conan. So good. Adventures played, nothing. Adventures played, 1. And 4B, I like to, when I look at GUIDs, I like to look at like the last 4 or 5 letters just so it's an easy way to know if I'm dealing with the same one rather than trying to do the whole thing. E4B, 6F. I guess you could do the first. It's probably the same, but whatever. And then the adventure GUID we sent in is E4B, 6F, so it should skip right over that one, and bam, we're working. And you only got 2 instead of 3. I gotta fix this thing here. So he now has XP. And This is why concatenation sucks, because it's so easy to forget this stuff. All right, so there's that. Let's deal with death, and then we're gonna be done for the day. So before we do that, I'm gonna go back over here, and I'm going to kill Conan. I'll keep an original copy, and I will just there, just to get rid of some junk. And you know what I'm thinking? Ooh, this is gonna be kind of fun. Check this out. You don't exist, dude. Let's open up Conan's file. And here's a cool idea. Cause of death. This could be fun. So once we do have a group of adventurers that have died, we can have a bunch of information of how they died and where they died. So let's do a adventure died in adventure. So we'll do the title of the adventure they died with and the cause of death. We'll make some funny cause of death. So that could be fun. So we need to add that to the character real quick. And we won't add it to the entity because this is an actual a character thing, not an entity thing. So go to the characters and models, and we'll do cause of death, public string cause of death. Make sure that's written right. Strings are so easy to mess up and screw things up. Died in adventure. I'm going to copy that. Boom. Okay, too fun. Dead. Let's find out where we said dead in here. There's some nonsense we don't need. And you're dead. So death, funeral time, game over, we're in the game service, and we'll just say character died. We'll call it character died. Yeah, okay, character died. I have not been keeping up with game service interface. We'll get back. We'll get back to that, I guess, whenever we work on testing. So that's something that we'll get back to. So we added character died to the bottom, right? We didn't. We will. Private void character died. And we have all the information we need about the character. We don't need anything else. So we're gonna say character. Let's do it in here. This is a better place to do it. I was gonna do the character is dead up there, but no. Character is alive equals false. But we do want to know cause of death. So wherever there's dead at. So let's go back to dead. You were damaged. So what do we know when we're here? We know we're processing trap. So we know the trap type, we know the trap damage, and we know the hit points. So in here, we're going to say, because this is all incestuous and we know everything, let's not do that. Let's make the cause of death and the adventure. No, who cares? Why do that? No, we're just going to do it right here. Character dot cause of death equals you were killed by a, and now we can do string interpolation, which we want to. You were killed by a trap type. No, not you. We're not talking to you. Killed by a trap type in the all right, and we can get more colorful, more funny later on, but right now we're not. So there's character cause of death. I don't really need the. If we do it this way, we don't necessarily need. Yeah, I'm gonna take that out because I'll put it down here, and we can, whenever we make a cemetery of some sort, we can make a cemetery of some sort where we list all this information out later on. We can deal with it then. And of course, if we wanted to, we could be more funny. We could be more specific. You were in this room. This was a trap. This is how much damage you took, blah, blah, blah. So we don't want you right now. We're just still, I just added a little bit of flavor. I like it. I like it. Did I see extra spaces? What? What's up? No, it's not. It's okay. I hate double spaces. Don't need them. Characters live equals false. We're almost doing this exact same thing here, aren't we? We can even use this exact same this message. So we don't need this. I am going to get rid of this completely. I'm going to go back up here where it's going to be breaking. And I'm going to just say that the character is dead. And then I'm going to call game over. Game over, bruh. This should all work the same. Can't finish if game's over, bruh. We'll have to check Conan after it's done, see if he gets all this information. So that could be kind of cool. Now we're dead. So let's see. Does this work? We got to break stop. So yeah, that's game over. And let's hit enter. And we didn't get the big happy message. You were damaged for 2 hit points. You now have -1 hit points. This is and you're dead. The game is over, son. Man, press enter to hit. Press enter. And yeah, start a new game. Now let's see. Yep, only 1 Conan's left. So let's open up the Conan that died. No experience points. Did we get some, did we even get gold? Well, he's dead, so I guess it doesn't matter. We didn't add adventures played. Might want to add that later. But yeah. Cause of death, killed by poison. It was ugly. Killed by a poison. Okay, I should probably put trap. Died in adventure, the Duke's Chalice. And yeah, it's done. There's death. So let's set all this back to normal. Let's open. So we got Conan here. He's got gold. He's got, where? Am I missing the gold? Oh, there it is. Pfft. Duh. But, okay, quickly, what we got to do here is we got to add these 2. Blank these out, because this is our fresh Conan. And don't save, close that. Go back to our folder. I can just go open in containing folder. I'm going to set him back. Oh, no, I didn't want to open it. I didn't want to open it. And Conan's back. So I lied, friends, like I always do. We didn't get as far as I wanted to, but man, we got through death. We got through handling the actual adventure, final stuff, making sure it's the final objective. And then, I mean, the game is done. We're going to add some combat. We can add combat later, and we'll still add creating and loading, maybe loading, but the creation process and the combat process is pretty much the only thing left to do before we start cleaning code up. So moving right along, you guys are doing great. We'll see you on the flippity flip.